I'm doing great, man. Let's talk about Kansas City, then we'll get to Seattle. So going into the game, we said that the teams that have had success over the years with these guys, they don't let them possess drives and keep drives going by either when they have opportunity to get a turnover or they don't penalize. And that's what we did in the first half. We got the 2 turnovers. We didn't have any penalties, and we played very aggressive. And in the second half, the second play in the second half, we got a penalty that gave them, it would have been a third down, gave them a first down, kept it going. They got explosive, and then we didn't cage rush on that fourth down. All right, allowed the quarterback to get out. That was a big play. I think those 2 plays were big plays. And then we caused a fumble, and we didn't get on it. So that gave them another down. If the score was 14-7 at that time, we give the ball back to our offense, and we have opportunity to change the game. So we have to consistently, when you play a team like that and they have a quarterback that they have, you got to make sure you make those plays. And we made some in the first half. Second half we didn't. And that's how the game got to where it was. All right, talking about Seattle, another talented quarterback, arm talent, can make every throw. He doesn't scramble as much as Patrick, so he's in the pocket. They run the ball. A lot of 12 personnel run the ball well. The receiver has having an outstanding year so far. I mean, he's faster than you think he is. He's elusive. He can get out of his hips. And then Cooper as well. Cooper blocks like a Hines Ward or Larry Fitzgerald or Anquan Bolden, those type of blockers. And then they're accomplished receivers as well. And so have a lot of respect for him. They have a pair of tight ends, a traditional Y and a U that moves, and the offensive line's blocking well. So running backs running hard. He can slash and dash and run behind his pads, great vision. So like I said, this is another very good team. And but if we can produce the turnovers and minimize the penalties, minimize the explosives, we'll have a chance to play good.
You talked a lot about increasing the speed on the defense. Did you see that, and how much of that was, if you did, how much of that was from tweaks that you guys made or inserting guys like Jordan and Tyler?
I think it was a little bit of both. Like I said, we minimized what we did, and then you saw T.O. and Jordan, the way they just ran and hit, and so and then you got to say Revo. Revo played really, really fast. I mean, he played physical, fast. He played a really good game, and so those guys popped off on the film.
With Jordan and Tyler, do you see a similar role for them moving forward, or is this how do you see them going forward?
Yeah, when you play well, you get more opportunities, and it's going to be hard to get Jordan off the field. So we have to make sure that we can find roles for him. Same as T.O. T.O. is a guy that has a lot of hit power to him and a lot of speed. I mean, there was a ball that got on the sideline, and you just saw those 2 kids just boom going to it right now, and that was good to see. So we'll find spaces for them to continue to get roles in the game.
When you're facing a receiver who eats up as much as a target share as Jackson Smith-Njigba does and also moves around, how difficult does that make for you as a D coordinator to kind of concentrate coverage on a guy who that quarterback is looking to throw to?
Yeah, there's certain times that where he's going to be, and in those times you can shift the coverage those ways. But every down somebody's going to have a hard down, okay? And within that, you have to stand up on those hard downs. So we're going to do our due diligence with him, but every once in a while you're going to have a hard down depending on the call, and so we try to minimize those because he's been so explosive and the ball has gone to him so much.
A question about Johnny Newton. He's obviously had some pretty good moments this year, but his reps the last couple weeks have been sort of either a little behind or about the same as guys like Eddie Goldman and Sheldon Day, which is not a knock on them, but just he's a younger guy. You guys invested in the draft. But where is he kind of at right now for you as a player and part of this rotation?
I think the last couple of games he's played really well. The last game he got hurt, all right, and so he was in and out because he was hurt. But he was playing fast and explosive and throwing hands, and I'm hoping that he's available this week, because he's been trending in the right direction. So the numbers, sometimes it's because of, personnel group or packaging, but he's been playing well.
When you have your tackles playing on the perimeter, which you guys have done occasionally, but now maybe have to do a little bit more with the injuries, what's the biggest change for a player, whether it's Johnny or someone else, from going inside to playing on the perimeter?
Well, there's more space out there, and then You have to be able to set the edge, the length, and the edge setting ability, depending on the call that we have. And so the ability to play six technique, the techniques are different. You're not playing on the edge. Sometimes you're playing down the middle, but you should be able to move that guy as a tight end. And, we don't expect our bigs to be able to be blocked by tight ends, so we should be able to knock them back in that standpoint.
Hey, Coach, when you take a look at your secondary, your safety group, Quan Martin, what have you seen from him in the last few weeks?
Quan produced another fumble. He communicating well. I like to see all of them back there produce the ball. But, Revo, like I talked about, you talking about the whole safety group, I thought he played just a really, really good game. He had 2 tackles for a loss, just coming up, playing physical. Savage, he's communicating. He's getting back into the groove of being new to us. And so I think as a group, those guys are trending. And then T.O. with the speed and the violence that he plays with gives us a new addition.
And to kind of go back to your point about, first half versus second half against the Kansas City Chiefs, and was there anything differently that the Chiefs were doing that kind of prevented the, more regular attempts at making plays or big plays or stopping those?
No, it wasn't anything. They have a great quarterback, okay? And so we foul on the second play, which would have made it third down. All right, they get a first down there, okay? He scrambles, the tight end's blocking, the guy that's covering the tight end tries to play help side defense, should have stayed over his guy, the tight end gets out for a long one. All right, that, then we get down there on 4th and 2, and we have a cage rush. We let the quarterback get out. That play probably pissed me off more than anything because we know where we want to send him. When we send him the way we wanted to send him, Frankie hit him. We had the penalty at the end of the half, or we got a sack with 55. You let him go the way he wants to go, he's going to hurt you. He can make every throw off of every platform. So, and then we didn't recover the fumble. We recovered that fumble when it's 14-7. We give the ball back to our offense, give them another shot to go get it. So that's how you beat that team. If you allow them to get extra possessions or you don't capitalize yours, you're gonna get beat. And so we capitalized in the first half, and we penalized. We had 2 penalties that hurt us in the second half, and then we didn't get the fumble, and we let them out on the 4th and 2. That was basically the game.
Joe, we saw you guys using 5-man fronts a little bit more this game. What went into that decision, and what did you think how do you think you guys performed when you were in that look specifically?
We performed well. Some of that was to get Jordan on the field, and we had Frankie playing down at the end some, and we've done it throughout the year. And when we first started doing it, we did it with really big people, and people started getting on the perimeter, and so we sort of changed how we've done it now, and it's been good for us. That package has been really good.
How would you evaluate Duran's play over the past couple weeks, and how important is he, I guess, when you're losing other guys on the line?
Well, not just Duran, but J.K. and Johnny and Eddie. The tackles, people still aren't running the ball in between the tackles. I think we're like 4th or 5th when the balls are running there. Where we're having issues is the C and D gap. So those guys are doing a good job of, stuffing the run inside. They're playing violent, and then they're also getting pushed and getting pressure on the quarterback from inside.
A lot about Vaughn so far this year.
Mm-hmm.
How do you balance his play time, I guess, and is he going to continue to be a third down primarily guy, or could you see him kind of growing into more of a role in first and second down?
With the injuries that we've had, it's going to be needed that he's more on some of the second downs, some of the first downs as well. But we want him out there on all third downs. He has juice. He still has a really quick first step. But we're really down with the defensive ends, and then Johnny, that's the next person that we would kick out there, and he's hurt as well. So that's one less person. So we're gonna if we have to put another linebacker like we put Oos down there, we'll find a way. But we'll put a good group out there that can go out here and give us a great chance to just go play fast.
Coach, from the outside looking in, we hear a ton about how many hours that coaches devote to their team, all of the late nights and early mornings that you all give to the squad. When you look at a season like this thus far, and you got the ups and downs, you got the injuries, you've got the somewhat missed opportunities, what keeps you up the most at night with this year, and how do you fix it?
What keeps me up the most, this is the same thing every year. We work the same way. If we let me put it this way. I've been on a team that won 19 straight games. All right. Then right now I've been on a team that I think lost maybe 6 or 7 games in a row. Work the same. All right. You just come to work and you work as hard as you can. And then you go home. If you put the work in, you really don't worry much about the result because the work is the work. You know what I'm saying? You don't change it because you win or lose. Like the walkthrough we just had was outstanding. The energy, the buzz, you wouldn't know that this team had lost 3 games in a row. I mean, the communication, the energy, the focus, the detail, it was one of the best walkthroughs that we've had. And you know, we're part of a 3-game skid. The only way you get out of it is to work through your failures. That's where success is on the other side of that. You know, and so, and the only thing that really matters is winning right now. And so we're going to find a way to win. But what we're not going to do is have a negative cloud while we're having some struggles. Everybody else can. Cool. Go at it. But we're not, because the only way that we'll get out of this is to stick together, all right, work our ass off, and go win. And if we lose, people keep saying what they're going to say. All right, but we just got to win. All right, we got to win. The attitude of the players is exactly the way it should be.
Good afternoon, Coach. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good. I know overall the Seahawks rushing attack, statistically, if your stat scouting doesn't look great, but they're also pretty high up there in explosive runs.
Yeah.
So how do you make sure that you get the low-ranking side out of them and not allow the high-ranking side?
Yeah, they do a nice job of getting on the edge, and that's where we've struggled. You know, on the edge, people are not running into our big guys, so we got to make sure that if the people are running toss cracks or getting the ball on the edge, we do a better job of setting the edge or popping it and getting population to the ball, because that's what's going to happen. You know, and that's what they're going to try to do.
Said before that like one win in a season can kind of be that light bulb moment for a team. How, in your experience, how true is that assumption?
Every win is hard to get, but it's some truth to that. Like I said, we've been 4-6 before and made it to the playoffs. That's back when it was 16 games and you won the last 6 games and went deep into the playoffs. You got to get the first win, then start stacking them. And there's no time like now to get it, So, but the thing that's positive for me is the guys are working, and there's nobody in the building dropping their head. There's nobody that's the guys are doing the same meetings or extra meetings, and we're trying to be creative in the way that we're approaching it. So the process is right. Now we got to go get the results done. All right, y'all have a great one.